In 1975, my parents immigrated from Korea with my older sister. I was born in 1977 in Flagstaff, Arizona. When I was 2 months old, my family moved to Northern California. I grew up in Antioch, California. When I was 12 years old, we moved to Oregon. I missed California because all my friends I grew up were there. Growing up, I had a good childhood. My parents argued a lot, but besides that, I didn't go through anything traumatic. I tried alcohol and marijuana when I was 14. I also started skipping school. In junior high, I got into a few fights over racism. In 9th and 10th grade, I lost interest in school and dropped out of high school. I got my first job when I was 18 doing mechanical assembly for computer printers. My older sister got married and moved back to Northern California. That same year, my parents got divorced. When I was 19, my mom and younger sister moved to Northern California. I also moved to a little later. When I was 20 years old, I got a job as a security guard and continued smoking marijuana. I started doing meth and I quit my job as a security guard. I used meth for about a year, almost every day. When I was 20, I moved to Oregon again. I started working again and I used occasionally and also drank. When I was 20, I was arrested for robbery. 2 weeks after I did the robbery, the police came to my house to arrest me. I was shocked to find out Oregon had mandatory sentencing and that I would end up doing 7.5 years in prison. I ended up doing 8 years and 3 months because I didn't receive all the credit for time served in county. I was devastated and shocked when I was in county jail. I had no idea what prison would be like. When I got there, it wasn't how I pictured it. I thought it would be a lot worse. While I was there, I managed to stay out of trouble. I attended religious services and started seeking God. It took me a while, but I developed a strong faith in God. I went to church growing up, but I never read the Bible or prayed much. During my last 3 years, I was able to go to a level 1. This place had more privileges, but I grew distant from God. While I was in prison, my family moved to Los Angeles. I tried to transfer my parole to California, but I got denied. I ended up staying in a sober living home where you paid $400 a month. At this sober living home, I attended my first NAAA meeting. It had been so long since I drank alcohol or did drugs, I had no interest for these meetings. After a few months, my parole officer called me and I received the transfer to Los Angeles. In February of 2008, I moved to Los Angeles. I stayed at Agape Home Mission and ended up relapsing. I started drinking and using drugs until 2010. I ended up going to prison that year for assault. I got out in 2012 and went to a drug and alcohol program. Until 2015, I stayed in different programs and ended up leaving these programs after a few months. I ended up in county jail a few times for doing that. I've learned that I can't forget about the pain I caused my family. I'm doing better accepting my past mistakes. Going to meetings every day helps a lot. I've learned to look for similarities instead of differences in meetings. I struggle a lot with sharing at meetings. It's something I'm working on. I have less desire to use than before, even though it isn't completely gone. Right now, I'm on the 6th step and working on getting a job. I want to thank Dr. Hong and everyone in the House of Thanksgiving. Thank you for letting me share.